everyone! It's happening.
It's happening.
It's really happening.
It's Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I'm super lucky I get to spend it with my Valentine.
Absolutely. It's a heart day.
It is the heart day.
Happy hearts.
Happy hearts. I hope everyone is doing something they love or hanging out with somebody they love, even if it is yourself.
Bobby, that's a different day.
No, it is. We can love that's important. We have to love ourselves.
Self-love day.
Yes, through all of those things.
I like celebrating as V-Day. It's an Eve Ensler thing.
Ah.
Yeah, you know.
I'll have to Google that.
That is also on Self-Love Day.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, well, I'm so excited to be here, Erin. It's finally happening. We've been talking about this for many, many years, and we are officially launching podcast.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. Maybe we should tell everybody who we are.
Oh, I'm Erin.
Oh, hi, Erin.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, too.
We should go on a date sometime.
We should date. That's kind of how this all got started. We went on a date one day, and
That's not how this started.
no, we'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, my name is Bobby D, and we are the co-hosts of the Heart of the Gala podcast. And this is going to be a great time to do all the things and talk about fundraising and events and galas. And
I mean, I often feel like there's so much information in my brain. And sometimes I talk to a client and they've never heard the information and they don't even understand it.
Yeah.
And this is the other side of it, is that oftentimes we get somebody that calls us and it's like, hey, I want an auctioneer for our event. And we have to think of a new name because that's not what we are.
yeah, we
I mean, we
can,
do the auction.
and we're multi-generational auctioneers.
True,
We've done
love
hundreds
it.
of them.
World champion auctioneer. That's you.
Oh, that's me. New York State champion auctioneer.
It's a true story.
That's her. Yeah.
But it's more than that.
It
And
really
how do
is.
we explain that to people?
You're absolutely right. And that's why we have this podcast. And that's
Yeah.
the whole point of this, because there is so much information in her brain and obviously in my brain, because my hair's so giant, it's growing out
Oh,
of
is
it.
that what's going on?
That's why I
Your
have a
brain's expanding.
That's what it is. Anyway, but there's so many things to dive into when it comes to event-based fundraising, and we have so much to talk about, and we have so much to teach, and we have a passion to help evolve events, take them to the next level, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you know what? The thing that I hate the most when I'm talking to a potential client.
I cannot imagine.
Oh no, you can. You can. And how many times have you heard this? Oh yeah, our event last year, oh, it was horrible. It was terrible. It was boring. It was cringeworthy. I mean,
Yeah. Record scratch.
yeah, record scratch so many times.
Oh, I feel so bad when that happens.
Oh, me too. Like they're like, oh, our auctioneer last year did this or said that or
But it's not even just the auctioneer. It's the
No.
whole setup. I mean, there's
It's
so many
everything.
like tiny little details that could be edited
Yep.
if somebody just took a minute to know that information. But then at the same time, we only know that information because we've spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours researching
Years.
it.
Years.
Yeah.
Years. And how that event connects to the entire fundraising strategy of a nonprofit for year round.
It's true.
Yeah, and we're considered professional fundraisers, I guess. That's what I mean, we get paid to fundraise for nonprofits.
True story.
So, what was the one thing that your client had called you? It was the onstage
I don't know.
the onstage development director.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that one.
Oh, they've called me so many things.
Right.
I like fundraising motivational speaker.
Ooh, that's good.
I know that's a good one.
Inspirational
But
speaker.
that's just like the
all that.
on stage part of it. And that's the thing, is that like you have to work with a development team to bring their development strategies onto that stage moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like where that whole thing kind of melds together.
It's what I call a golden goosebump moment. And what?
No, your golden goosebump moment is the fundraising moment.
Oh,
no, I'm
sorry.
talking about like bringing in their entire year strategy into an
yes,
event.
yes.
Instead of having these isolated things. Like sometimes an event just is like a standalone thing.
Right.
And it's an opportunity to really ramp up what they've been strategizing, what they've been planning, what they've been creating up to that moment
Right.
that can take their organization, their mission statement, everything, and like motivate it to the next step.
Yes.
Right? Like there's this
Move the
there's
needle.
a cohesiveness. If that is all together, if there's a mission, if there's team, if there's everybody all together, the gala doesn't have to be that painstaking, standalone, have to have moment.
That's right. And a lot of times it is that. It's a one thing, and they work so hard to get it to this spot, to get it to gala day, gala night. And then the next day there's the giant gala hangover that we all experience. And then it's radio silence for weeks because they've poured so much time and so much energy into the gala. And then you talk to them a few weeks later and they're like, I don't even want to talk about
Or
gala
no,
anymore.
or they've
We're
just
moving
moved
on.
on to the rest of what their year plan is. And again, the gala is a standalone moment instead of a cohesive plan. It's a standalone, isolated
Yes.
thing. And so they
Yes.
don't want to talk about it because they've moved on. Bobby, we have to talk about something.
What's that?
First of all, we kind of look like hot messes.
Yeah, we're
And normally when people see us, we're all glammed up.
yeah.
And I just want to tell people we're real people. So today,
Today,
we're home with sick children.
mm-hmm,
Hence my glow. This is the sick mom glow.
walked from the doctor and
Yeah.
planted her butt right in this
Yeah.
seat behind the microphone.
They say it's just a wicked cold,
Good.
but to an 8-year-old, it's life changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
To an 8-year-old's mother, it is earth shattering.
And you're feeling just peachy keen too, right?
Peachy keen myself because I have time to get sick. That's awesome. What I'm very excited about is I'm getting all of the antibodies now.
Yay.
So when next week we have galas, I'll be healthy as a horse, as they say. But by the way, we also have to talk about this past week how much stuff you've been doing and running around like a lunatic and not taking a moment. And we always know this: if we're rushing too fast, we make dumb mistakes. We have to slow down to go fast, as they say.
I know what you're
Because
talking
when
about.
people are looking at you, looking in my loving eyes, they all want to know,
What's that?
what did you do?
What did I do? I again was rushing and I wasn't paying attention and I dropped something in my workshop and I had a drawer open and I hit my head on my drawer.
Nice job, buddy.
Yeah, super win. And usually
That's your moneymaker, man. You can't
I know,
mess
I
up that
know.
gorgeous
I didn't even
face.
bring makeup.
But then you can't sleep on that side. You can't. You cannot blow dry the side of your hair. Look at Bobby's hair. Always looks like this, no matter what you do to it. It's always perfect.
But when I'm talking to the camera by myself, you can see my good side. But now that
Which side is your good side?
this is my good side
Oh,
now.
that's your good side.
Yeah.
Well, I've just flattened down this side.
It's okay.
Back up.
but yes, you're right, Aaron. This is the calm before the storm, and we have so many things that are going on, let alone family life. We do live together. Oh yeah, by the way, we're husband and wife.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
that too. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have that fun dynamic that's there. We're business partners.
Mm-hmm.
We are co-founders of Inspire Hearts Fundraising.
True.
Yes, and we're also on TikTok. Couple of auctioneers. Look at our things backwards.
Everything is backwards
I,
today.
you know what? When you said that this is a real podcast, this is real, friends. Like no script, no nothing. Like what comes to our brains and comes
This
out
is
of our
what
mouth.
life is like.
Yeah, it
Our
is.
life is this.
It,
Our life is this. So, but at the same time, while we live in this, what often will happen to both of us, and this is where the podcast comes in, is we'll finish a meeting with a client and we come rushing out to into the meeting space, or we come out of our offices and we're like, oh my gosh, this just happened, that just happened.
oh
We
yeah.
get so excited about these moments. We learn all these awesome things, and when all of that happens, we're like, man, I wish we could like share this with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, I think, what the focus of the podcast is really having this opportunity to show that other things happen, and
Yeah.
again, we can solve so many. I always say this to my clients every time I have a meeting with someone. I'm like, you have unlimited access to me when you become
Yeah.
my client. Like
Use
you
that.
can, when we partner together, I'm on your team, and you can definitely reach out to us. And I think they don't even know. I don't even know.
Like
Let's be real. I don't even know what's in my brain. Do you?
I don't. Sometimes I don't know until it comes out of my mouth, and then I say it, and I'm like, oh, that was genius. I should make a blog about that or something. But this is the chance. Oh, we have a question. Oh yeah, that's right. We're live.
We're live.
We are live.
I feel like we didn't know.
Oh, we have Sherry. Oh, we have a. Oh, did you know what?
No,
We have a special guest.
we do.
We have a surprise guest.
I love it. So
Well, friends, I am so excited to welcome our friend. I met this individual on LinkedIn who is a content creator extraordinaire, fundraising consultant extraordinaire, helping nonprofits raise 7 figures plus, like transforming everything of quamtaylor.com. Please put your hands together and welcome our friend Sherry. Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Bobby. Hi, Erin. How are you?
Hey, Sherry, we're good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for hopping on with us for our first ever podcast episode here.
I love it. I love that you picked Valentine's Day here to do this.
Well, I mean, we are Inspire Hearts, and
Yep.
And
we.
we're
It's
cheese
perfect.
Oh
balls.
my,
We're
really?
so
Look,
cheesy. You
Oh,
have,
look at you.
yeah,
literal
heart
branding.
tattoos. I mean, yeah, I gotta tell you this really quick, Sherry. When we
Yeah.
got our matching tattoos, because we were cheese balls and madly in love, we actually thought about our microphone hand. When we hold our microphone on stage, we want people to feel the love.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's a righty and I'm a lefty.
So cheesy.
So cheesy.
Unreal, but I love it.
Well, Sherry, let me introduce you. This is my wife, business partner, and fundraiser extraordinaire, Erin.
You
Erin,
exist. I've
this is
heard your name so many times. So nice to finally meet you.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been our down season for fundraising, so I'm usually not public during this
yeah,
time.
public facing.
I have my full mom mode on, and then all the back end of the office, taxes, and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that stuff. So
Here's the season.
So, Sherry, would you share with Erin and
Yeah,
everyone that's listening to this, either now, live, or in the future,
sure.
give us that like elevator pitch. What do you
Happy to
do?
do it.
yeah,
What's your
how are
what's
ya?
your what's your fundraising superpower?
Yep. Let me tell you what I do. So you gave a little sneak peek, which I loved. But I'm the person who helps organizations secure more general operating revenue. And so a lot of groups come to me where they've put these amazing strategic plans in place. We want to double, triple, grow, do all of these wonderful things. But they aren't bringing in enough unrestricted revenue to actually invest in all the infrastructure that requires. And so sadly, a lot of those people's dreams kind of never come to fruition. And so I specifically work on those general operating, non-project based money you can use for overhead types of gifts. And I love it. My clients are all over the country. I'm in Chicago. Luckily, I had a Zoom business before 2020. Very thankful for that.
Smart.
Oh,
Yeah, and so I coach, nonprofit CEOs who really they're kind of sitting there going, well, I'm bringing in, I'll make up numbers, $8 million of maybe government or contract program revenue, and maybe only a million of charitable revenue. But gosh, if that million of charitable was actually three,
Mm.
that's a game changer. So I work with leaders to really help them see what they could be raising. I coach teams to show them how to be securing larger gifts, and then I also train boards because they're fundraisers too. And
jaw
so it's
drop.
so fun. It's so fun.
I told you she was awesome.
Jaw drop. Sherry, I gotta tell you, I was just talking to another auctioneer. Had a record scratch gala. I'll be super
Have you
straightforward
ever
for
have
it.
you ever experienced that? Have been at a
No.
gala and it was like, ooh,
Oh
they,
no, no. So the gala
Oh,
wasn't. No, no, no. I gotta back this up. This wasn't the gala's fault, to be totally
yeah.
honest. They had some
Did
great
something
people.
happened? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just an organization that just is
Yeah.
off focus, right? Like their
Yeah.
whole strategy. And so I spoke to another auctioneer that had done the gala before me, and he said that his biggest challenge with the same group was when he was getting there, they said, "Oh, we're so excited, we're going to make $1 million at this gala this year." And he was like, "Fantastic, great, wow.
nice.
Let's look at your numbers. Let's look at this. Let's break it down." And in the past, 20 years, their biggest gala had raised 100,000.
Oh, so that's a 10x.
That's a
And so
lot to make
and
up.
so then he was
Maybe
like,
you did.
"Okay,
Yeah.
so what are you doing? How's this gonna work? What tell me the
Tell
magic."
me.
And they were like, "No, it's just you."
Oh,
You do it because you have this magical
Right. And he's like, "So
power.
I'm gonna get up on the stage with the same information that you've given to everybody else,
yeah.
with the same audience you've given everybody else, with no prep work, with no planning." They're like, "No, no, no, you got this. No lead gifts, no nothing. You just got this. Get up there. We want 1 million." And so that didn't happen. So he was fired because he failed.
Yeah,
So
it
then they
Oh,
happens.
hired me the following year. I did not have the same expectations that year. Um, in fact, I was given no expectations. They wouldn't communicate with me. So I literally would show up on Zoom meetings and they wouldn't show up. And
oh
then
no.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they just had no skin in the game. They were just like, "You can do this yourself. That's why we hired you." And I'm like,
Oh,
"You might have a misconception on why you're hiring somebody."
yeah.
So I love this talk because it's a real talk. It's hey, I get it. Nonprofits start because everybody, they always say the kitchen table, right? Every nonprofit starts at the kitchen table where people gather together and they say, we have a problem, we need to fix it. Let's create a group that's going to fix it. Let's find a way to fix it. But they're not experts in how to fix it, what those things are, what those strategies are. So I absolutely love that you're doing this because it really does, it's crucial. Let's be honest,
It
it's
moves the
crucial.
needle. So that's what this podcast and this show is all about, is bringing experts together to have this conversation. So Sherry, I want to ask your professional expert
Sure.
opinion. If a organization has a gala that has always raised 100,000 and they want to raise 1 million, I mean, yes, realistic, unrealistic, whatever. What are a couple things that they could do to get closer to that, whether it's at the gala or after the gala?
I'm going to give you a second to think about that because I first want to ask just that straight question. Is it realistic?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, could it happen? I suppose. I suppose there's some scenario where it could happen. But as I was coming on, you guys were talking, and I tried to write down what you were saying because I was like, "Ooh, you're speaking my language." If the event is that one, like that's just we're gonna raise it all in that, and we're putting all guns and horses behind that. Um, that's one way to approach it. But if it truly is an amazing step in so many donor experiences, then I would say you can grow it because maybe not everybody should be giving at the event. Maybe we're doing pre-work and post-work. And for some people, we do want them giving at the event. But in my world, and I'd love to hear your feedback as event experts, I really want it to be a step in our donors' experience. And I always say that, like, just because somebody got that, oh my gosh, major donor in the room, doesn't mean it's like, wow, the food was excellent and that speaker was great. Boom.
Yeah, let's give them 1 million right
It's almost like
now.
the time you had the head CEO of Goldman Sachs at your event, and they were like, "We're going to raise so much money," and he never raised his paddle.
Right.
Now he made a big gift.
Oh, huge gift, yes,
We
very
will
very
say he
generous,
did make
very
a gift,
generous.
but he knew going in he was
Yeah,
making that gift. It had nothing to do with what was going to happen at
Yes.
the event. Now here's where the big issue is: if we had a relationship beforehand and after with this person, that gift could have been used so much more impactfully
yeah.
Yeah.
than that private check that he wrote. And that's fine. Love the support, love the inclusion.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people on board. His name brought some recognition. Great. There's a lot of pros to having that person. Maybe it's not just the financial
Yeah.
thing. Right.
Yes.
So there's all these reasons to have these people in the room. And Trey, that sounds a little bit like kind of what you're thinking about, because for me, when I just asked you that question, can you go from 100 to 1 million? I think you can. I just think it takes strategy throughout many years. I just don't think
Yes.
it's going to be
Yeah.
Overnight success.
or a 3 week success,
Oh,
right? Don't
No.
you think?
Or even 3 month, maybe, right?
Maybe a year success, not even. I think you've got a couple of years. Bobby and I find that our most successful clients have been with us 3 to 5 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
Because
what moves that needle.
our
Yeah.
best, and I will tell you, if anybody's listening to this, especially if any of my clients are listening to this, because they don't all utilize it, the most valuable meeting that we have is the post-event meeting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I believe that. I think like what you're talking about, Erin, is like a lot of my work is really looking at, are we leading every single one of our donors to their best gift? Like we might be getting a lot of like
notes.
500,000. Okay, yeah, I'll give that again. But if we start committing to saying, well, what is that journey we need to take that donor on? Especially even that Goldman Sachs, CEO that was there. They're not going to just come and be inspired and give their best gift at an event. I don't believe. However, that event is it might be a significant or signature step in that donor's journey to their best gift. And so I just love that. Sometimes people say, I know you don't like events, Sherry. It's like, no, hold on. I
That's
love
what
a
we hear
good
all the
event.
time, and that's
I,
that's
I, I
yes.
never said this. Like I love a good event. I love a good event. I got a dynamite, amazing commercial stove in my kitchen because I won an auction. Like I love a good event, people. My new kitchen renovation is like, mwah. My point is, it has to be a step in so many donors' journey, and that's wonderful. If somebody got to come and hear about the organization, you have that post meeting scheduled for 2 weeks. And that person really enjoyed the event, and it's going to be the start of a journey that maybe will solicit them in 6 months, in 9 months, in 12 months. Now we're talking. Like that's what we have to be doing. And I think like sometimes that even when I describe that, staffs are like, that seems like so much work. That seems like, but what about our fiscal year? And like,
Welcome to fundraising.
yeah, but this is fundraising, and we also have to be taking the long view. I love how you said my clients get the best results when I'm working with them 3 to 5 years or plus. We have to take the multi-long view of fundraising, and that's so counterintuitive and frankly opposite of like what all the content is out there. It's all like spin, 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 deadline, deadline, it's urgent, give now. Some of that's good, right? But to really scale and grow and move an event from 100 to a million, or move an organization from the person I talked to today, 2 million to 8 million, it's a multi-year, long, methodical, strategic move. That's how you fully fund your organization every year.
And it's also like this, right? Like it's not even just straight up, and that you have to be realistic to that expectation. There's not we're not going to, that one event that wants to go from 100 to a million, even if they did that, that's no guarantee that the following year will be a million
No guarantee.
or in 5 years. So there's like a whole long plan of it. I have to say my favorite clients, no, I can't say that. I have several favorites.
They're all favorites,
Top
I'm
right?
sure
10.
you do, right? Yeah, we
Top
I
love
10.
love
them
them
all.
all.
And we love them all. That's why we're celebrating
My
them today.
top
Big hug,
10.
group hug.
On my top 10 list is a group that I've been with for years. Now, I have that ability. When I started, I got to tell you just quickly, my mom is an auctioneer. So I got into this very young. My mom would do kind of what most auctioneers do. On the side, she would do fundraising. So
Mm.
she sold other things from storage auctions to restaurant equipment to heavy
Oh,
machinery. Like,
neat.
that was her jam. And so I got in this from a nonprofit perspective for my own nonprofit love. I was working with women's nonprofits and gender equity events. And
Nice.
so I started this group and I was real young to the scene. And I did still believe that, it was me, right? Like, I think a lot of auctioneers will, if they're very honest, will say they think they're the golden ticket.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they're the thing that's missing. And that's so not true. And,
One
and
component.
it is, yeah, I mean, sure. But it's so much bigger than that. So working with this group for years and years and years, and when I started with them, the gala made $25,000 the first year,
Hmm.
and they were so thrilled. They had such a great
That's a lot of
time.
money.
It was huge for them. You have to look at it in proportion to who they were. I mean, so not the gala, the auction portion, I should say.
Great,
And,
great.
and so this was before funded needs. Then we brought
Mm.
funded needs. Then we brought raffles. Then we brought all these other elements to elevate it, to take down the amount of time we were taking. Because now they're like, oh,
Yeah.
money's in the auction. Let's spend more time in the auction. No, let's slow that down. So to this day, our gala's actually coming up now. We're planning for it. But the last event we did was about 300,000
Good for you.
in just the auction portion, my portion of it. And, we're looking at not just that. My favorite thing about this event is after doing probably like the fourth event I did, a big guy came up to me afterwards and he was like, yeah, I give to all these events. I love giving. I love giving. He's like, but you got me inspired. He's like, I'm going to donate my time.
Whoa.
I want to
Well,
be
Inspire Heart fundraising
doing
got you
work.
inspired.
There you
And
go.
he joined as somebody who's, literally nailing the boards together. I mean, he is
Wow.
hands on. So now you've got his heart and his wallet in a very different capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about the inspiration of that moment versus just the money raise of that moment. But here they were raising money for like nails. So,
Yeah.
you're not raising the pretty things. So I love kind of what you're talking about here is this long plan. I do want to go back to Bobby's question here. What do give us your best.
Well, here, let me condense
do
this
it.
real quick because Sherry's time's very valuable. We only got it
I
for a
know,
few
I
more minutes here.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay,
He's
you
gonna
can hang
cut
out
me
with us
off.
all day if you want. I mean, we could, but again, we're speaking the same language, and
I know.
we've got some friends that are out there that are like, give us more. We want it all. Sherry, for you, what is something that a nonprofit could do to add that heart, that inspiration, that preparation to have have an individual like this to be moved beyond just raising a paddle, to be moved beyond just bidding on an auction item, to be moved to be more involved? Like what's
Mm-hmm.
something that a nonprofit could do?
You know what? This is going to be, I think, the opposite of what you think I'm going to say.
Okay,
I always say that, but
I love
here's what I
learning.
mean. So when we think of like everybody does heart and story and photo and
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
so of
You
course
think
we're
everybody,
storytelling.
not everybody, but keep going.
Okay. The buzz is that, right? Storytelling, story brand, like all the things. Don't send the story brand people to me. Like I'm with you on all that. But oftentimes, a mid or major level donor is not giving their best gift, frankly, because they need more. They also, probably not in an event setting, but hang here, they also need us to move into like, so what is the financial story of the organization? What is the growth story? How are you? Wow, 2 to 8 million seems a little. How would you do that? If I'm a major donor and I'm literally going to get my checkbook out and write you a $50,000 gift, I need to know how my money is going to be used, and I need to know that you're running a great business behind the mission. And so I spend my whole day coaching people on, or I don't need to coach them on the story and the heart and the programs and the crisis and that. Like they got that. But then how do we say, can I share with you how we're growing? Could I walk you through that? Could I walk you through how we're funded? Major donors need that kind of information. And when my clients start moving into these, what I call investment level conversations, we already have an inspired heart, but we got to move into an investment level conversation. They go, oh my gosh, nobody has these conversations with me. Oh, nobody shares this information with me. It's all public. It's all on everybody's 990. But we
Yeah.
have to move into those CEO to CEO conversations. And I find that people just simply have never been trained how to do that. They think, am I supposed to be doing that? Whoa, gosh, what if they ask me scary questions? Well, we got to know the answers then. So I have people move their 10K gifts to six-figure gifts because they're like, I just didn't realize you needed my money. I didn't realize how you were funded. I didn't realize how you invest.
Yeah.
I really now see you as someone who's really transparent and going to use my money well.
Right.
And so I just encourage, EDs who are listening, like, does your team know how to have investment level conversations? Do they know how to move that person out of the event for that coffee in 2 weeks and say, could I share with you how we're growing? Do they know how to do that? Because if they don't, they're leaving billions of dollars on the table
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. And there's that massive transference of wealth that's happening, and there's dollars to be had, and every nonprofit is competing against every nonprofit for those same philanthropic dollars,
Yeah.
and the for-profit dollars as well too. But I love that the med or level donor is that they have more capacity, and that's true. They've seen that in studies,
Yeah,
but
they
they
say like
want
95% didn't give it their max gift.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
But they want to know more. So it's
Mhm.
almost identifying the prospective donors or returning donors that are coming to the event and almost having like pre-conversations with them somehow, or
Mhm.
being extra, do some extra storytelling, not just on, like you said, the heart, not on the story, not on that, that heart tug, but also that infrastructure, that business plan, that strategy, that this is where we're going with your help. If we don't have it, we're going to be stuck here, but we want to move forward with you.
Yeah. You nailed
So
it.
I gotta tell you that there's a story that has stuck with me for a very long time. I know you know the story, that Doctors Without Borders was doing fundraising for a tsunami, and everybody was sending money, and they got ridiculous amounts of money,
Almost too
and
much.
they did get too much. They sent out a Stop the Giving campaign,
Wow.
and they said, listen, we have reached our capacity of giving for this cause. If you would like to continue giving, please give unrestricted, give to a different cause that we're working with, or, give in a different way. And they refunded donations that couldn't hit, or I think they reached out and said, we can refund your gift or put it to a different cause because we've
That's a
hit our
boss move.
area. Right. So every nonprofit in the world went, oh, what? You did what? And
Whoa.
right, exactly. Here's what's funny. 24 hours later, full halt of giving. 48 hours later. And they did this over NPR. It was a news broadcast. It was a big thing. They got more donations than they'd ever gotten before because people appreciated the reality.
Yeah.
We
And they
d-
were honest and transparent about it.
Exactly. I find that especially major donors have the ability to save. They have ability to make their money work for personal gain, for personal reasons. They are able to look at gifts. They are able to look at money in a very realistic way. So they're not just painting rainbows. They want to know nitty gritty. Like you said, the investments, what are you doing with the money?
Yeah.
If they're really savvy and they are looking up those 90s, that group I told you about that was trying to go from 100 to a million, you look up their 990 and their CEO made over $1 million a year.
Interesting.
And there was a gal making
Great.
100,000. So there was like a big misstep here. Something was askew, and how am I going to trust to give that money there?
Right.
Like what something doesn't feel right. And so when you have a group like Dr. Wars, who I'd love to work with, give me a call any day. Just because I love them as a group, but like their transparency, their honesty, their reality. And I
Right.
think that that is a huge shift that we are seeing in fundraising, because you're right. We all love the story. We all love the emotional story, but it is not. I often get this question when people ask about giving, and maybe you have an answer here. There's a couple rules of thought here about when you're doing an appeal on stage. So we're talking about a gala, and you're doing your ask. You have this beautiful mission moment. We have another podcast where we're going to be talking about how to frame that the best.
Neat.
But they ask about, do we set each level to ask for a specific thing? Do we just make it general? Do we ask for the ugly things? And so it costs 50,000 to create a bus, and then what? And so I'm curious here, because I'd love to hear your input here, because a part of me thinks I think they should know what the electric bill is.
Hmm. Yeah, it's funny. I actually do get this question a lot. I recently had the question. Somebody on LinkedIn even reached out and asked me this. Um, I probably can't speak to the like appeals where it's $50, $100, 150. Sometimes it's nice to have that tangible little something for those types of appeals. Um, but I recently gave somebody the advice when she was doing this big she was just presenting the organization's need for on a, I'm going to call it a flyer, but it was more strategic, that she was going to be sending out. And she said, shouldn't I put on here $500,000 does this and 250 does this? And I said, I wouldn't, because A, we're leading with transaction then.
Right.
B, isn't the goal of this to actually get in the room with them and walk them through how we're scaling the organization by 3x, and that we actually have a $12 million need, and here's what we need when we have a 15 and a 20 and a 25. And so sometimes I feel like defaulting to that sets us up for, so you don't need a bus this next, I paid for the bus this year, but you don't need a bus next year. So like, do you not need 50 again? When we actually need 50, we maybe need 100. So sometimes it's like it feels good in the moment, but I would just go back to where we started this conversation to say, but if that's not that donor's best gift, don't we want to be leading them to that? And did that just get in the way of them doing that? Because they're like, oh, you just need 50 for the bus? Oh, I thought you were going to ask for 100. I've seen that before.
I've seen that too.
Wow. Like, like you said, does it get in the way, or have the opportunity to turn them off? Like we see that again, events, like we're working our best to change them from events to, oh yeah, events. And that has happened before, where a major donor comes to the event, and because of the record scratch, however it happens, could get turned off. And now they're like, later. And that relationship, like you said, it's not transactional based. It's transformational based, and we really preach a lot about that, and looking at the participation of the donor within. And that's, I mean,
I love that leading with transaction comment, because that really is a big thing that I see. It takes people out of the room. I always want to keep people in the room, whether that is your coffee conversation, whether that is your gala room, wherever that room is, you want to keep them in that space. When you say things like, we need a van, they start thinking, oh, my uncle owns a used car dealership, or I got an extra van I can give you.
Yeah, it's a school bus, but that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden they're out of the room. They've lost the touch. They've lost the transformation, that's opportunity. And you're right, it ceilings them, and it also, doesn't give them that opportunity. It stops them.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
Even though, and I always say, there is that donor who wants to touch and feel and wants to have the photo in front of the van. Like, okay, whatever, but don't default to that.
But you would get that opportunity in the coffee conversation. You would find out what their needs are. You find out what they're looking for as a donor, versus talking to a big group and throwing that out there. You're limiting the majority by looking at the minority here, in my opinion.
Nice. Well, Sherry, thanks for hopping on here with us.
Yeah.
I have a feeling maybe you want to ask her. Can we do this again, but in a much longer format? I think we
I'd
have
love
to
to.
walk through like again like a year-round strategy of a nonprofit. Use maybe one as an example or a testimonial or a case study that has a major gala that's within that, and how you build, prepare at the gala, what happens there, and then beyond to again, like you say, go 3, 10, 20x, over a span of multiple years. So I don't know, Aaron, could
Yeah, I think a
think
long
think
talk would be
think we
awesome
should do
here.
that?
I'd love
Exciting.
it.
Awesome.
I
Sherry,
love
what's
it.
your favorite quote?
Oh, gee.
I know.
Oh, I do know what it is. A goal without a plan is just a wish.
That's a good one.
Oh, I love
It's some
that.
saint something something that
I like
says it,
it.
but
What's your favorite book?
hmm, what's my
Could be
favorite
anything.
book?
I know she got all these books behind her.
Well,
Nice.
I mean, you know what my goal is? To actually read the books that I buy this year. I made a goal. I was like, I don't need more books. Maybe I should read all the books I bought in the last 2 years that are
Have you
sitting
ever felt
here.
like that?
Shh! Don't tell
I have
her.
so many right.
That's
I have so many
sensitive.
right now. I don't know. I don't know I don't know my
What
favorite
are you
book
reading
is.
right now?
Um, so I'm reading. Actually, somebody challenged on LinkedIn. This is about anti-Black racism in the charitable sector. And someone said, "Hey, everyone needs to read this book in the month of February. It's stories from Black and Brown fundraisers about like the challenges that they've had and the realities." And so I said, you know what? I coach tons of Black and Brown fundraisers or Rockstar fundraisers, but I need to do my part in educating myself. And so I literally just got this. Okay,
So
so I
what's
bought
it? Hold
another
that up
book.
so I can. What's the name of the book? It's
Collecting Courage, Pain, Freedom, Love.
Yeah, joy, pain, freedom, and love. Um, it's anti-Black racism in the charitable sector.
Love it.
who's the author?
It's it's a compilation of a bunch of
Short stories.
people,
Yeah.
Okay.
but it says I can give you the link if you want to put it in the
Yeah,
show
please.
notes.
Yeah, because
Well,
we definitely want to put
But
this in the show
I'm
notes because there's
committed
going
to
to be.
reading this, and it's right here. But I thought I just want to make sure I'm doing my part in being knowledgeable and not being just ignorant to certain things.
I appreciate that. That
Nice.
is something that we talk about quite often. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing your
You
information
bet.
with us. And I do look forward to absolutely way more conversations with you.
So
Love
Sherry,
it.
if you blew somebody's mind that's listening or watching, and they want to reach out, how do we find you?
Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, as you said, I'm on LinkedIn every day. So
Yeah,
Sherry Quam
multiple.
Taylor, QUAM Taylor, or my website is quamtaylor.com.
Yes, yes, it is awesome. So
Thank you.
Sherry, thank you so much. Let's schedule that really soon,
Love
and then
it.
we can have that super deep dive in there.
And
Love
Sherry,
it.
you work everywhere. You said that most of your
Everywhere.
stuff is Zoom. So just because you're based out of Chicago, you are everywhere. I love that.
Everywhere. Yeah, I have only a couple clients here in Chicago right now. So a lot of East Coast work here these last couple of
Well, if you're
years.
ever in New
So,
York, we're gonna take you to dinner.
hey, let's do it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
awesome,
Thanks for having me, though. I appreciate it.
Of
super good.
course. Talk to
Thank
you
you so
soon.
much.
Talk to you
Happy
soon.
Valentine's
Yes, happy
Day.
Thank
Valentine's.
you. I hope the kids feel better soon.
Thank
Good
you.
hearts. All
Okay,
right.
talk to you
See
soon.
you, Sherry.
Bye.
Um,
That was like the best Valentine's Day surprise ever, honey.
Happy Valentine's
Do you
Day.
know how to get to my heart?
I do. I do. I knew you would love Sherry. I've been following Sherry pre-pandemic, and then Sherry and I had a conversation in February. I remember we were talking in February of 2020. I was walking down Fifth Avenue, and we were talking on the phone and talking about podcasts and talking about events and just brainstorming and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, bam, pandemic happened a month later. And then there was a lot of communication going on through LinkedIn, both of us sharing so much information. And I have learned so much from her, and super honored to have her on our show. Like when we talk about fundraising rock stars, like that's one right there.
Oh,
That's okay.
Bobby.
Yeah. Yeah. Yay.
Bobby, so for our public watching, he will sometimes have to drag me kicking and screaming into a space. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm always surprised and delighted and thrilled because he knows me so well and he knows what like gets my brain going. And I
Yay.
love it when my
Yay.
brain turns on.
Me too.
I know it's so good.
Oh, so good, so good. Well, Aaron, there's so many like things there to unpack, and we're always preaching so much of that. Prep donors before the event, share what the dollars are going to go for at the event, and then that follow up after the event. I mean, that's was like, whew. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. It is going to be a good time having Sherry back.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep moving on. We got about another 40 minutes left here in the live stream. If there's
So wait a second, Bobby. This is like a long podcast. Tell me why it's so long.
This is the long podcast because this is our premiere. We're putting this out there into the world, and
So
we're
are all of our podcasts going to be this long?
no,
Because we have a lot of information.
so much. Sometimes
I don't want to like melt people's
no, no, no,
brains.
no, no. Okay, so here's my vision for what this podcast is and can be. We're going to have very long form conversations, kind of Joe Rogan-ish. Not necessarily the topics, but just long, just talking like with Sherry. Maybe it's an hour, maybe it's 2 hours, maybe it's 3 hours. We're just going to keep that conversation going. And if someone wants to kind of consume that whole long form, they can. But then we're going to take and pull out the nuggets that we learned and make more short form content. And then there'll be times that you and I will be talking together, and maybe it'll be 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes about one particular topic. Maybe it's something that came up in a consultation or something that happened at an event. Maybe there's some time that you're interviewing someone quickly and they hop on and you're like, hey, tell me about this, and they do that. Or maybe it's you talking to the camera, me talk to the camera.
So, and where is this going to live?
This lives everywhere
Everywhere.
in the universe.
In the universe.
Well, we have a lot of home bases. There's some of you that we've got some folks that are watching on Facebook. We have some friends that are
So
watching
we're
us.
live right now, but
Live.
not all of our shows are going to be live.
No, not everyone's going to be live. I mean, we'll, on occasion, like today's Valentine's
So then people
Day.
can like ask questions when we're live.
Absolutely. So yes, if you're live and you're out
I
there,
want to challenge somebody. Is anybody watching? If you're watching, send us a question because
Do
I'm
it.
like, I want to see how this whole thing
yeah,
works.
yeah, get us a
I'm new
question.
to the podcast world. That's why I'm asking all the questions,
Ah,
y'all.
yes. Okay.
know.
So on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn Live, we're putting that out there.
Oh, that's cool.
And if they want to listen to it in audio form, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Google Podcasts, and we are on Spotify podcasts.
So when they get on there, they can follow. When a new podcast
Yep.
pops up, they
Yep.
get an alert.
Yep.
I'm
And
gonna follow.
well, please, thank you. Follow your own podcast, and we're planning on releasing a podcast every Thursday afternoon, because Thursdays are the new Fridays. Because it's kind of like I don't know if you feel this way. Like Thursday comes, it's like Thursday evening. You're like, oh, it's weekend time, or for our case, it's gala time. Because
Thursdays are my me day.
yeah, but then it comes out and it's a gift to you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Thursdays are my me day, just in case anybody was curious.
Self-love. We were talking about that before.
I
Self-care.
don't get weekends off, so Thursdays are my
Yeah,
me
it's
day.
good stuff. So anyway, that's what's going to happen. We have a very, very large list of guests. We have a very large list of topics, and we have new stuff that's coming
We
up
have
all the time.
A large list of guests. Like who? Tell me some guests that are going to be.
We had Sherry, who was an awesome guest.
Are you keeping them a surprise for me?
We may have another surprise coming up here in a very short amount of time.
Really?
Yeah.
Today we're having another surprise
We
guest?
do. We have a very, very short amount of time. Very
So
close.
the guests that are going to be coming on are just anybody in nonprofits?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Thanks.
So the purpose for this is, again, to help elevate events. And it's anyone that is involved within nonprofit fundraising events, galas, mostly galas, sometimes golf tournaments, sometimes different things, but mostly galas. And it's anyone that's involved within that. We have some major professional fundraisers like Sherry, consultants, people that work directly with nonprofits to help
like
them
that.
on their bottom line. Because again, as much as we're doing our best to educate our listeners and our viewers, we're educating ourselves. Like I took a ton of notes from that. I'm like, this is so good. This is gold. So it's kind of selfish to have this podcast because I get to talk to cool people and learn some really great stuff that I can help our clients better with.
It's fun.
There is also a list of executive directors.
Oh,
I would love to have Judy on. You know who I'm talking about.
do.
Yeah. And I think if you think of a list of individuals that we've worked with and have seen their organization and their events grow.
maybe I can interview my top tens.
Ooh, there you go. Make a list for me. So it's going to be executive directors. It's going to be development directors.
I'll send them like a box of chocolate as a thank you.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
my
yeah.
top 10s
Speaking of
have
chocolate, you brought it up. Aaron, if you go on to our LinkedIn profile, our Inspire Hearts LinkedIn profile, and you like it, there is a boutique chocolatier in our hometown that we are going to send you a giant box of chocolates from someone. We're going to pick someone at the end of the day. Oh, by the way,
I'm so confused.
you have to,
Who gets it?
the people that like our
So if they
LinkedIn.
click the little heart button on LinkedIn,
Yes, if they go to Inspire Hearts fundraising on LinkedIn and they follow us, then at the end of the day, we're going to pick a winner out of that new group that we have because we just grew by 20% in the last week.
what if they like share it, tag their friends, and things like that?
You're getting way too complicated.
Why?
But we're going to do some more giveaways. I think
love
that's a good idea.
giveaways.
Yes, I know you. I know
Especially
you love a good
chocolate
raffle.
ones. Aha.
So It's those type of individuals, executive directors, development directors, nonprofit event planners. And then we also have our vendors that are so vital to making these galas be absolutely amazing. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I am a board member of the International Live Events Association. Did you know that?
No, I just thought you
You did.
snuck out
You did
and
know
went
that.
bowling with them. I thought you like snuck into their groups.
Yeah, no, I'm on that. So the International Live Events Association, also known as ILEA, is packed with great individuals that produce live events. We have event planners, we have photographers, we have DJs, we have people that put up the lasers and make it happen. Aaron, I know
Bobby,
that
I
you've
gotta
got a
take this. It's
it's a
the doctor's office.
yeah, Dr.
Checking on
Gone.
my kiddo.
Okay, so
Please hold. Well, you keep going.
she'll be back.
Tell them more about Ilea.
So anyway, so ILEA is full of all these great event vendors who do so many great things. Production vendors. We have people that create things. Like we had a vendor create this awesome step and repeat, and it's a collection. It's a network of live event people, and event people love event people, and I love event people, and I love hanging out with them. So we're gonna have a lot of them professionals on here as well too, and bringing in their unique perspective of really successful events. Like, have you, I'm going to ask, is like, have you been to a successful gala? And they're like, yes. Like, what made it successful? What's something that you as a vendor can bring to the table to help elevate these events? What's something that a nonprofit can do with help of the right vendors to help make great events? So it's going to be questions like that. It's going to be individuals like that we're going to have on board here, and again, interview. Again, a selfish act on my part. I'm sorry, I am very selfish, but I want to learn. I want to learn as much as I can, and I want to learn from everyone because there's so many individuals that come to events to help make that success. So we have another group of people that are going to be coming. Now, I am very, very honored and proud to be a part of a nationwide network of fundraising auctioneers and hosts and MCs and whatnot. And I have a giant list of those that are going to be joining us here. And now that Erin's gone, we might have one here in just a second. Well, in about 20 minutes. She's on a sales call right now. She's talking with some clients. It's those auctioneers, it's those fundraising hosts, it's those MCs, it's those people that are in the gala trenches, that are holding the microphone, that are inspiring hearts, that are creating those that auction action and helping to raise the dollars at the event. And I love my friends. I love my colleagues. But what I love more is to learn their why. Why did they choose this profession? Why did they dive, into nonprofit fundraising? What are some tips and tricks and maybe skills or different things that you may never learn anywhere else except by working with a professional fundraising auctioneer and event consultant. So I'm just going to rip open their brain and pull all out the good stuff and put it on a nice platter for you. That was a terrible visual, but anyways, that's what it's for. It's pulling that great information out and sharing it with you so that you as the nonprofit leader, you as the event director, you as the development director, you as the CEO can then take that information and apply it directly to your event and make it better. That's really the whole point behind all of this, is I want to help you make your events better, because I am so tired of hearing people make the events conversation. And then also, again, professional fundraisers. Everything good?
I'm back.
We're good?
We're good.
We're good. Okay. So speaking of,
It's not anything bad. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
really bad cold.
it's bad cold. Well, good.
I guess it's bad, but that's good.
Well, it could be worse. I'm good. Whew. All right. Happy to hear that. Lots of,
Happy 8-year-old.
yeah.
Gonna watch a movie with Mama.
Nice. What are you going to watch?
I don't know.
We don't know yet. So Aaron, I was just
I'll
talking.
take a recommendation if anybody has a recommendation.
Put it there in the chat. So I was just talking about individuals we were going to have on here. We talked about the vendors. We also talked about our colleague auctioneers and fellow live fundraisers.
I love that, especially because they're all over the world.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna get some people that I know that I reached out to, a couple of friends too that are interested. You get a different perspective on where you are.
Right. Because the
market's completely different.
Yeah.
In the Midwest, you can sell a pie
for tens of thousands of dollars.
or sell a trip to New York, which might be great, but a New Yorker might not be so excited. So we got to think about what's hot in their markets. And there's different games, and there's different activities, and there's different things at a gala that keeps each event fun.
And there's also different styles of gala fundraising too. I mean,
And
there
auctioneers.
and auctioneers. Yes, that's right. And that's a big thing that you like to talk about is
I
the
do.
style of auctioneer or style of fundraising ambassador that's on stage representing you. Why is that so important, Aaron?
So I am the New York City Auctioneer Association president, which is pretty cool. It's actually the longest auctioneer association that's ever been founded.
Little known fact.
Little known fact, little drop. What's cool about that is that we get to be friends with people that are all over the world. And so you get auctioneers, there's a character auctioneer. There's a guy that shows up in costumes. There's somebody that's, likes to be more of a game show host.
Right.
There's some that one of my favorite auctioneers is more of a poetic auctioneer.
Very,
It's
yes.
very eloquent. His pitches are well, not his pitches. His presence on stage is eloquent, and there's female auctioneers. I know there's only 10% of auctioneers. Well, I think it might be up to like 13%, maybe
Yeah.
14% that are females. And so people don't even know that. You see an auctioneer on TV and they're like either the cowboy auctioneer
Right.
or the Sotheby's person.
Right. And that's
And-
kind of the contrast that people think of.
Right, and they never think about the women, and there's some like really fierce
Oh my
women
gosh,
out there that are
amazing.
just doing cool things. So there's like,
Married one.
oh, thanks, honey.
Yes.
I think you have to look. Sometimes we'll get clients or people that are calling and looking for somebody, and I'm like, I'm not the best fit for you. I
Right.
think you should talk to this person or that person, and I think that's really important because this person is representing you on stage. They're representing you in front of, however many hundreds of potential new donors you have, new guests, people that want to come back year after year, people that you want to come back,
Yep.
people you want to have those lunch conversations with after the gala. Some auctioneers bring teams to the event.
Yep. Yep.
Not all do. So that's a big thing. What kind of event are you having? Are you trying to get everybody included? My personal thing for events is inclusion. I want every person to feel in the room like they're my best friend, not just one table or the front tables or whatever that may be. The entire room has to be included. So we do bring a team because we want the whole room to feel enveloped in this experience. That's my style. That's not
Right.
everybody's style, and so that goes to the event, and you need to know specifically on what your event is looking for.
And that again, we're talking about reasons of creating this podcast, reasons of investing our time and energy and dollars into producing this content is also to help organizations find that right individual.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a referral, you're looking for a different style of auctioneer, or you're in a particular marketplace and you want to change it up a little bit, or maybe you're in a marketplace and there is no auctioneers. We want to help you find that individual. Reach out
Maybe
to
you
us.
just don't know.
Maybe you don't know. And a lot of times that's like everyone asks us, like, what's your biggest challenge as a fundraising auctioneer and consultant? As like, people don't know about us and know that we exist and know that we do this, because there's 1.2 million nonprofits in the world, and how many like pure professional fundraising auctioneers are there in the entire nation?
Under 100.
Less than 100. So do the math, my friends. Do the math. That we know probably all 100 of them on a first name basis and hang out with them and we learn from each other. So let's find those. And then there's developing talent that are part-time fundraising auctioneers. Maybe they do different types of auctions, or maybe they do different types of jobs.
So exclusive fundraising auctioneers is probably under 50.
Yeah.
That are specifically only fundraising, and then there's others that have a division of their auction company that also does fundraising, and that's probably a couple hundred.
Right. And then you would have the kind of the amateur professional auctioneer that does it, 1 or 2 or 3 times a year.
There's a million of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of those that are out there. And then you have the free auctioneers.
Well, look, there's a reason that people do what they do.
Yes.
No matter what you do, there's a reason that somebody does it. So if you're doing an event, if you're doing an auction, and so I can speak from experience that my mom was in this business, and in the 80s she would do fundraising, and her objective was to get more business for her other auction companies. So she was trying to get name recognition. She was trying to get out there, and that was how she was doing her marketing, was doing nonprofits. So this is, everybody's getting something for something. Nobody's just donating their time and just having a
Very
good
true.
time. I mean, I'm sure there's
some
a few
people
of them. But then they're probably there for the free drinks, right? And they're probably there for the free food or just a dance party. There's some end game for everyone.
Right.
And so what is that?
Right.
And are they looking, our incentive is longevity with our donors, with our clients, because for us, like I said, year 3 to 5s are like the best years to really understand our value.
Yeah.
And that longevity relationship means it's a process. It's not just, hey, 2 minutes before, get up on stage, get the list of items and
Sell
get off
this and
stage,
yeah.
because that's not, again, what our value is. So, for us, that's our why we do it, is the longevity of these relationships, because we believe that the world can be a better place.
And it is, and we're all trying to do our part to make it a better place, and that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. I had a great conversation with Erin yesterday, and she was like, "Bobby, paint the picture of the podcast for me. Give me the why."
Me, Aaron?
Yeah, you, Erin.
Oh.
Yeah, this Erin. Paint the picture, and I did. I painted the picture for you. I was like, "This is why," and this is why we're sharing with you. Of
Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. Because I'm going to tell you what I heard in that conversation.
Okay.
My beautiful husband, whom I love and adore, we're going to pretend he's not here right now, is Mr. Helpful. Mr. Helpful will literally help anybody at any point in time do anything. That is his favorite thing in the world. He's taught auction schools, he's taught fundraising conferences, he's taught seminars. He gives his information away for free because he just believes in the world. There was, before we were even together, there was this thing that he put up on Instagram that was like, be the light in the world that you want to be, or you want to see.
Yep.
And that is Bobby to a T. And so for him, doing this podcast is helping beyond just his small group. He wants to help more and bigger and better. And I love that for you, honey.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, in giving, okay, so again, giving back to our nonprofit friends that are out there that are actually doing the fundraising, but also I want to provide a lot of value for our fellow professionals, our fellow vendors, our fellow colleagues that are auctioneers and fundraisers. And maybe there's those that are aspiring to move from the amateur level into the professional level. And they need knowledge. They need the education. They need the words to do that. Well, this is where they can get it. I mean, we talked with Sherry for what, 15, 18 minutes, and I already have like 10 new phrases I'm going to be utilizing to help to share my story and to share our formula for what fundraising is. So it's also to helping those professionals as well too, and bringing them in.
I mean, it can only get better. If gallows
Yeah.
get better, if auctioneers get better, if
Everything
if
gets
the
better.
expectation of a gala gets better,
Yeah.
then the event gets better. Everybody wins, and when the organization wins, our world wins.
And even if we advanced galas and made them even just 10% better. 10% better. Aaron, last year you and I collectively, I think it was like $112 million is all of our companies put together. Aaron have 3 companies, and we have lots of teams that are out there. But yeah, 112 million a year raised. If we could just improve that by 10%, that's an extra $11.2 million. That's a lot. So if we can help nonprofits and vendors and fellow fundraisers make that 10% improvement, or even 5%, whatever it is, even a 1% improvement, then we have done our job. We have succeeded within our purpose of this podcast to make the world a better place.
It's true.
That's what we want to do.
Like my favorite thing is just helping other events be successful, because then they expect more, and your guests expect more, and they know what's going to happen. Actually, what will happen is that the clients that are out there, all of the nonprofits out there, will have to work less hard.
Right.
Because the expectation will already be there. They'll know who to
Raising
go
the bar.
to. They'll know what to get. I mean, how many people are going for the rubber chicken dinner anymore?
Yeah, no, they stopped doing that. They're like, nope, I'm just going to stay home.
Because people stopped going because the events weren't successful. So now we're getting...
Or they're going to a better event.
They're going to better events. They're going to better venues. And they're expecting better. And so they should.
Yeah. So now, speaking of these guests and these donors, that's another guest that we're going to have on here as well, is a donor, a philanthropist that attend events regularly.
Ooh.
Like they are. I mean, I've got like a bunch of friends that are donors, that are philanthropists, and I met them through these events, but I see them at events over and over and over, and they see me at events over and over and over. And I want to have conversations with them. I want to ask them what makes a great gala. Like what makes you feel good at a gala? What makes you give more than what you wanted at a gala? What are the things that get you to go from the invitation to going online and registering for the gala? What is it? I mean, like, what does it take for you to invite your network to the gala. Like I want to dive into the donor's brain.
I mean, we've had those conversations
Yeah.
with donors before. We
Yeah.
always try to ask them, like, why did you give more this year? Why?
Yeah.
And we do have relationships with them after they have to put their trust in us, and we
Yeah.
have to put our trust in them. So there's definitely a partnership there that goes above and beyond, and I think that that's a great thing to share with the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, sharing with the world, making events better. Now, like, how cool would that be?
I like visualize them with that like screen over them, like, so they don't get seen.
You know, so during pandemic, I did this little mini podcast thing, and I had a donor. I interviewed him, and he was like, "You know what, Bobby, you can't release that." I'm like, "Why not?" He's like, "I was very candid, and for me, I don't want that out there." I'm like, "Okay, well, can I use anecdotes from?" He's like, "Oh yeah. Just don't use my name, don't use specifics, whatnot." But he's like, "Yes, please share with the world what I have experienced." And you know what? One thing that he told me.
No, I can't wait to hear this.
Oh, this is great. This I've used this little nugget of information so many times now. But what a donor wants, like when they get to an event, they want it to feel good, they want it to look good, they want it to sound good. All right, they want it to sound good. If they go to an event and it's too quiet or it's too loud and annoying, and the people on stage are not respecting their time and giving them a good experience, you know what the donor said?
Bye.
He said, no, they'll take over. They'll get louder. Their table will become rambunctious and they will become rowdy because the organization is not creating a good experience for them. So they're like, well, all right, it's our gala now, and they will take over. So there's so many groups that we talk to that are like, well, Bobby, our group is so unruly, and how do we get their attention? And this, and I'm like, well, do it right. That's what I'm telling them. Like, do it right. Like, put the right production team in the room with the right amount of speakers at the right level. Put the right people on stage. Tell the right stories, and you will command that attention, and you will command that respect, and you will command that trust. Because again, like Sherry said, it's the trust that brings a donor to the event and gets them to give more and more. But if your room is loud and unruly and not paying attention to what's happening on stage,
There's a reason.
there's a reason for that. So yes, that was one nugget that I got from this particular donor, and
Love it.
and that's what we're doing here. That is
it.
exactly what we're doing here.
All right.
Yeah. Is there anybody else that you think we should maybe have on here?
My mom.
Oh, we should totally have a mom interview. Do I get to interview her or you get to interview her?
I don't know.
Ooh, that could be good.
It'll be fun.
You know what? Who else I want to have?
Who?
My mom.
Oh, she's a good time.
Oh, my mom is a good time. Yeah, Aaron's mom is an auctioneer. Guess what? My mom and my stepdad are auctioneers. Oh, and my two brothers too. And I think it'd be kind of fun to have that family conversation talking about auctions and you know, kind of like how the evolution has been over the last 20 plus years from where they were doing what we were doing and to now where they're kind of semi-retired. I mean, they still do some auctions and whatnot, but to see kind of like what it was back in the day. Like, I would love to hear the stories from your mom, like being at the MoMA in downtown New York City in a beautiful long dress in like 1982.
She wasn't in the moment in 82.
Oh, when-
she was there in like 2000. But
Oh,
I
sorry.
appreciate that
Okay.
you think that's the 80s.
Or the plaza or however, but that would be really cool to capture that.
She would talk about the Bachelorette auctions that used to happen.
What?
That was the thing.
That was a thing.
That was the thing in the 80s.
That was a thing.
Yeah, she was on Ricky Lake doing Bachelorette auctions. She
Yeah.
was on David Letterman.
Yeah. I saw that.
Rolanda.
Nice.
All sorts of talk shows.
You know what? I think we probably need to go back and rewind some of those and play those clips again, and then capture mom, get her on camera. Because
She's fun.
yeah, it's good times. Okay, so there's some. Who else should we have on here?
Maybe we should have some of those AV companies.
Yeah.
We have some great
Yep.
AV personalities.
Yes, we do.
Talking about their experience
Yep.
working with groups. I know that for me, one of the biggest tips and tricks for AV is I'm never shy, obviously, and I will often walk up on stage and push a microphone into somebody's face and be like, "Get closer to the microphone."
Yeah.
But they, and they're like, "Oh, thank you. We couldn't do that." Now they're getting reverb, and they think it's because they're too close.
They're not
and-
too close.
So anyway, I think that would be really beneficial.
You know what? I think having some professional speakers individuals that make their living on a microphone, telling stories, inspiring people. There's some professional speaker coaches that are out there in the world as well. I think that would be great because that would help. Again, this is a selfish act doing this. I was like, I want to learn more. So having those individuals here would be a great time.
Marketing.
Ooh, marketing people? Like how? Like marketing like
Well, marketing the gala, I mean, that's the big question,
oh my
right?
God, so
How do
much.
we get people to come?
Ooh, you know what? I got somebody on LinkedIn who is awesome at that.
I love that.
Yes. So
Of
we will
course you
have
do.
them on for sure.
I'm not on LinkedIn enough.
You are no. But watch out. Aaron's going to become more on LinkedIn because now we have this.
We have this.
We do. Okay, who else? Who else do you want to talk to?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know.
What about like self-care coaches? Like individuals that are working with performers or high performers or executives or whatnot and helping them to perform at their best, at their optimum place, and giving us individually tips on how to for us to be better performers and for us to be better fundraisers, but also for everyone out there. Our executive directors need to be performing at their top level to get those gifts. Those development directors get those major gifts to be able to stay on top of the ball. And then also for our vendors and also our colleagues too. It's like, how can you perform at your highest level to make the biggest impact as possible? Remember, just 10%, just 1% better every day, right?
You know what I want to know?
What?
I want to know about comedians. I want to know about comedy at an event.
Okay, tell me more.
Appropriate, not appropriate, how to know, how not to know. You know, I oftentimes will be followed up by, oh, you know, we've always hired this comedian and then they said this or they said that. And I'm always intrigued by it. You know, like I can see why it would feel like a good concept, but I'm not sure about it. And so from my own perspective, I would just love to know more about using comedy at events.
That I had never
Stop
thought of
popping
that.
your glasses. Are they
I
falling
do-
off?
I usually don't wear glasses, but I'm kind of self-conscious about my little. It helps me see the screen better. Helps me see you better.
I always keep poking them like a nerd.
I know, super nerdy. But yes, comedians. I am very fascinated with stand-up comedians, and I think they're awesome at what they do to be able to captivate and move an audience. I mean, it's very similar to like what we do. But yeah, to get some tips and tricks on appropriate comedy and comedic timing and preparation and all of those things. I think that
Yeah,
awesome.
very awesome.
You know what? I actually have a surprise for you.
I love a surprise.
I know you. Yes. We already have recorded a couple weeks ago a video producer, someone that produces nonprofit testimonial videos, storytelling videos that they use at their gala.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
That's a good person.
Yes. Yeah. So please stay tuned. David Seth Cohen, give him away.
Oh, we love him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
And he's a multi award winning feature film producer and all of that, but does create films for galas that have set us up for success. And I just interviewed him a couple weeks ago, and that podcast will be coming out here in I think like 3 weeks. So stay tuned to that. So individuals like that are going to be out there.
What does it talk about?
Talks about how to make a good video,
Oh, I love
how
that.
to tell a good story.
I love that.
What does it look like to make a good video? Like, what is it from the producer standpoint? Like, how do they work with nonprofits to capture that story and to move donors to take action?
I like it.
See, this is pretty cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have a lot of really cool friends.
we do have a lot of really cool friends, and we want to bring them on. We want to have conversations. We want to talk with them. We want to learn from them, and we also want to learn from you. So maybe if you think you might be a good guest, or you might know a good guest, throw it in the comments. Send us an email. Oh, Aaron, how can? Oh, you know what? I have a good idea. We should talk about what's gonna look like for event forecast in 23.
That would be an epic podcast.
Well, give us some tips. We got a couple minutes. What do you think you're going to see here in 2023 when it happens with events? I mean, you had one already.
I think that galas, since COVID,
Mm-hmm.
we got to think of a better way to say that.
Post-pandemic?
No, because not. No, there's a different word. Anyway, I think that you're going to start seeing events more like weddings
Mm-hmm.
where the cookie cutter doesn't cut it. Is that good just now?
Oh, that.
Thanks.
There's your new LinkedIn blurb for the day. When the cookie cutter doesn't cut it.
Yeah. I think that people are going to be looking for events, and I love that because that's something that we've always talked about, but I think that more industries are starting to talk about it around the event space. So you're going to see events that are more mission focused in the entirety of the event, not just the program of the event.
Like from invitation to thank you letter and
Yeah.
beyond.
Yeah.
Well, it's like what Sherry was talking about. It's like it's all a part of the journey. It's all a part of the donor journey. And bringing in, watch out, you're gonna have a cat here in a second. Speaking of journeys, she's gonna journey on your lap. Yes, I totally agree with you because then I'll have nonprofits are asking me questions all the time. What is going to be new at events, or like what are successful events going to look like? And I'm with you. It needs to be fully produced from front to back, and every moment at every gala is important.
Well, when you go to when people are getting married, because weddings are super popular again, you're seeing events. I mean, our wedding was very uniquely us. It was really special to being our event. It
It was
captured us. It wasn't in a formal dining hall. It wasn't, the formal situation. In fact,
not even close.
it changed daily on what it was going to
Yeah,
be. And that's us. It was very go with the flow, and it ended up being on
it
a
was awesome.
boat.
Yeah,
It was really cool.
it's great.
But I think that that's what you're going to see for events. You're going to start seeing more events that are specific to the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like when we do the Hamptons Animal.
Oh yes,
What was that one?
yeah. It was that
So they had like
Humane Society. Yep.
a puppy runway show.
Yes. Love that.
Or a petting area or like a play area. I think that you're going to start seeing that. And then they had the animal topiaries. They had, I just think you're going to start seeing more events like
Right,
that.
right. Well, I love working with organizations that have kind of a built-in venue, especially museums. I worked with the Children's Museum, and their event was in the parking lot outside of the Children's Museum. So how cool was it to have that party and then to look like this place right here
Wait
is
a
changing
second, back
lives?
it up because the year before that you were inside the museum
We were
coming through the
the climber thing.
the thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's things like that. And working with an art museum here in a few weeks. And it's like, how do we transform this space into an event space that gives the donor the immersive experience? That's what it's all about. It's about that experience. And if you can elevate that experience, elevate your event, then you can enhance that relationship that you have with your donor.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about. You want them to know you, you want them to like you, and you want them to trust you. So if you give them a good event, they're going to like you, and then you're going to tell the story, so they're going to know you.
It's also transparent. I mean, it also talks about what Harry was saying is like the transparent of it. They're seeing what it takes to run the space. They're
Yeah.
seeing the work that goes into it. So
Yeah.
they're seeing it firsthand. It takes a lot of the explaining time out of it, which takes a lot of the program time out of it. And we all know programs are too long.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a hot tip right now for our nonprofit event planners that are out there. No BS. Don't put any BS in the event. Not baloney. Boring speeches. Knock it off. Quit with the boring speeches. Like short remarks, like 2 minutes or less. But yeah, I used to go to a lot of galas where you have the chairman of the board, all good intending, is up there for 27 minutes and just sucks the energy out of the room. Yeah, don't do that. No BS. No BS. So, Aaron, what else are we going to see? We're going to see enhanced experiences. We're going to see more mission-based fundraising. We're going to see more donor-centric fundraising, like focusing again on the donor. What else?
More tap dancing.
More tap dancing? Yes. No. Again, part of the experience.
I do think there'll be more entertainment at events.
Yes, there will be. Remember the event we did last year where they had the swing dancers?
I do.
Yes, that was great.
I know.
And then this year they had an aerialist.
I had a client recently that was talking about me, which was a very funny experience. We were having a brain dump about me, which again was super fun. And so
It's very meta.
I know. And we were talking about like what things that she really loved about hiring me and had worked for me with years. Now she's moved on. So she was telling me kind of about her experience as a development director working with me.
Okay.
And she's like, the stuff that I loved the most, you don't tell anybody you do.
Really?
And I was like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
what is she talking about?
She said that one of her favorite things was that I always come on brand. And it's something we do.
Yeah,
We
right?
always
We
do
we are
it.
on brand. I mean,
Not our brand, Bobby.
the nonprofits brand.
The nonprofits brand.
Yes.
So like they had a black and white theme one year and I wore black and white. They had a superhero theme and I had a gown that had a cape on it. They, like whatever the thing was, I fit into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Bobby, oh,
Me?
actually, I want to hear some perspective here. I'd love to hear people's opinions on this. Is a bow tie guy. If you don't know Bobby, he is the bow tie guy. He's always in a bow tie. And so he will bring a couple of bow ties with him and let somebody at the event pick his bow tie.
It's kind of a tradition of mine that I have that I will. I have, maybe we'll do a deep dive into my bow tie drawer.
But in his bow tie collection of 10,000 bow ties, they're the ones he picks out for the event are about the event.
Yes.
So he's even gone so far as have create like custom jackets made for the event. I've gone so far as to get designers to make custom gowns that fit not just the look of the event, but also the creation. So we have, I work with a lot of gender equity events, a lot of LGBTQIA events. And so I make sure that my designers, my clothing is all made from people and organizations and companies that support the mission,
Right.
not just, on the sales rack. And so that I think is important. And I guess I always thought of it as important from my perspective, but I didn't realize it was noticed by this team. And I didn't know they saw it as such an important factor. But if you look through any of our images, you'll see, the gala is a pink and green theme, and we're wearing a pink dress or a green, and our team is always also dressed accordingly.
On brand. That's what it's about.
Not our brand, their brand.
Their brand. Because at events, it's never about us. Like, yes, we're holding the microphone and we're there preaching about the organization and their impact and all the great things it is, but it's not putting a spotlight on us. It's putting the spotlight on that organization. It's putting the spotlight on the donors. It's putting the spotlight on the impact that mission is having.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like the flow through.
I loved it. I had a dream one day, and we know Bobby's better at executing the dreams, hence the podcast. My dream was to write a book about how the mission was the bride of an event.
I dare you to write a book about the mission being the bride of an event. What do you think, there, internet world?
Whatever.
Do you think Aaron should write a book?
Time. So anyway, but that was the point, was that I'm not the bride of the event. No. The auctioneer is not the bride. No. The honoree is not the bride. The mission is the bride. And so everything around that, you can't outshine the bride, right?
Right.
And you can't outshine the mission. So it all has to be, the bridal party has to be in matching clothing. They all have to have their hair and makeup done the same way. They all, the attendees have to be dressed appropriately. The food has to be representative of the bride's favorite food or whatever it is. And that was, this whole theory that I have. And so, I do that internally with our own company, but this was cool to hear it from somebody that I didn't even know she noticed.
It's such a unique perspective.
Thanks.
And so, okay, I'll challenge you to write a book. Again, you're a busy mom and busy businesswoman and a busy wife and all of the things. I think we'll just do a podcast about that and talk, and we'll call it The Nonprofit is the Bride or something like that, and really lay that out for organizations.
About the mission.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I have to edit my notes here.
Please edit your notes.
Mission as the bride.
The mission is the bride, because it's not even the organization. It is the mission. It is that thing that they sat at the kitchen table and they planned and said, there is a problem with the world and it needs to be fixed. And whatever that problem was, these minds unified together to create a solution, to create a way to solve this problem that they thought was a glaring problem. And that is the bride.
Nice. I love it.
Thanks.
I love it. We are definitely doing that. Definitely. All right, we have our special guest coming in here in just a couple minutes, and I know we had
another special guest. I'm running out of steam.
I know.
I've drank all the espresso I could find.
I know, and you've been to the kids' doctor, and we have a kid getting off the bus here in just about 25 minutes. But I promise, this special guest does talk fast. Ooh.
Auctioneer?
Maybe.
They talk faster than auctioneer.
Maybe.
Bobby?
Yes. Aaron?
Are you going to do a podcast about Thanksgiving dinner?
Of course, maybe we'll have a an actual podcast at Thanksgiving dinner.
That's a long time away. But didn't we videotape any of it?
Yeah, we did. We're on TikTok, by the way. A couple of auctioneers right there. We'll do a giveaway where people follow a couple
Why
of
don't we
auctioneers.
post up some more of our videos? We've got some good,
Well,
ridiculous videos.
we are, and we will, because now we're going to have more events and more auctions and a podcast to talk about that we can make really funny videos. I have an idea.
I'm going to do a video about you touching your glasses. Is anybody keeping count? Is it a drinking game?
Is it a drinking game yet? Oh, Aaron, look at this. Instagram's another great place that they can find us. What's your Instagram handle? If they wanted to find you and follow you.
Star Auctions.
And
Star Auctions is so we've got
yeah,
Inspire
yeah.
Hearts,
we have Inspire Hearts.
but their Instagram name is I Inspire Hearts.
I Inspire Hearts. And then we also
And
have
then we have Star Auctions,
Star
which is Star
Auctions,
Benefit
right
Auctions,
there.
which has been my company. And so my company, and then Bobby had a company, which is not on here, called Auction. And then together we have Inspire Hearts Fundraising, which is more of a deep dive into the entire fundraising process.
But if somebody wants to follow
So,
the personal
anyway, if you're
story of
following-
Aaron,
If they want to see my kid's snotty face,
no.
they can go to Gala Auctioneer or
Sometimes.
the shoes I'm wearing.
Yes.
All right, maybe that's more interesting. My kids are so cute,
They
though.
are. They're great. But yes, please, you can follow along with Aaron. I love, okay, here we are. Valentine's Day 2023, Valentine's Day 2024. In 1 year, I think we can get you to 10,000? Ooh, internet, that's
I
a
want
challenge.
Star Auctions Instagram to be better, though, because we have some cool videos talking about the events, which I think is way more interesting than talking about the errand. And I think that they're really fun.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Yeah. Well, and
I
that's
should
the whole
post
point
that
of this
there.
is giving us an excuse to make more better content. More better.
More better.
More better.
More better.
Do better.
Better, better, more Betty, Potter.
You can follow me on Instagram, Bobby the Auctioneer. That's my place. Funny story before we get into our special guest here. Birthday party this weekend.
8-year-old.
8-year-old birthday party.
Had to do it in the morning because there was more parties
All the
scheduled for
parties
that
happening.
day and
Yes.
the next day and the day before.
So we had what, 25, 38-year-olds,
Yeah,
7-year-olds?
38-year-olds.
Yeah.
38-year-olds.
Yes.
Anyway, so we
Told
did
you.
a brunch. We did a brunch. So we had bagels.
Bagels,
And
donuts.
And one of my son's best friends designed the design competition he won for the donut company. So we had these beautiful donuts. They were called the Morning Delight by Colin.
Oh,
And so
delicious.
it was very exciting. And we got to serve these donuts. And so obviously,
We had to get their attention.
right.
Yeah.
So
And a room full of 8-year-olds pays
nursery
attention.
rhymes.
Yes.
Nursery rhymes.
Tongue
Like
twisters.
Betty Botter.
Betty Botter.
Bought some butter.
How did Betty Botter bought some butter? Why?
But she said this butter's bitter.
Okay, so
If I
what?
put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter.
Oh, no.
So she bought a bit of better butter.
Okay.
Put it in her bitter batter.
Ooh.
Made her bitter better better.
Okay.
So just better Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter.
That is better that Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said it was bitter and put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter, better.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. So these are the stupid human tricks that auctioneers can do to capture attention.
And they become rock stars with their children.
Absolutely. You know what? That would be good content. Special guest. Dun 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 dun. All right. Our wonderful producer, Damasio,
special
please,
guest today?
please enter our special guest.
Is there like a drum roll that's gonna happen? Ba-bam!
I think our producer may have that option.
Wouldn't that be cute?
That would be cute. Okay, so yes, please bring on our special guest.
It happened.
All the way from Charleston, North Carolina, the world famous
Oh,
auctioneer as well as video coach, the one and the only Aaron Kinzel.
yay!
Nope.
With her mic off. I love that.
Oh no, internet.
Testing 1, 2, 10.
It's one of those buttons.
This is the Erin show.
This is the Aaron show. This is not fair. Maybe I need to find another auctioneer that's Bobby.
Another Bobby.
Another Bobby? Another Bobby?
I'm good.
Wait, yeah, there's only enough Bobby for the. Anyways, let me introduce. Well, Aaron
Erin's
is.
fixing her. Oh, you're
Yeah,
introducing her.
she's fixing her. I'll introduce. I don't know. We'll let Damasio work with you on the backside there. You know what? It's technical, and I've done this where you plug something in and all of a sudden nothing works. But here's what's great about being a professional auctioneer. Sometimes that happens, and sometimes you got to fill space, and sometimes you got to work out the kink on the backside.
Oh, Dead airspace.
Oh, we don't.
Maybe we should interview a radio person.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because radio personalities understand the death of the
Dead air.
dead air.
Dead air. Anyway, so let me talk about Erin. How awesome Erin is. Since she can't reply back, we can just talk about her.
Ooh, I like it.
So we met Erin in the pandemic.
No, I've known her before that.
Well, you knew her before that, but we got to become friends through Instagram.
Yes.
And watch each other's families grow
True.
and each professions grow, and especially Erin with her.
I tend to just follow as many fundraising
or errands as possible.
female auctioneers as possible because I want to know about the world. There's not that
Yeah.
many of us, so I'm
Right.
always like, "Who are you? Tell me more. I want to be your
Right.
best friend."
Right. And so,
So Erin said, "Yes, she'll be my best friend."
yes, and we were best friends, like instant best friends.
I love her.
So now, what is really cool about Erin, like extra cool things, is that she has a new course coming out very soon. I think it might be sold
Erin
out.
started through the news world.
Yes, was a newscaster.
Yeah, and
Anchor
so
woman.
she does these really cool, like about town videos
Mhm.
and on the
Mhm.
on the road, and tells you. I have definitely bought dresses from the Carolinas.
Okay, we're bringing back.
Yeah, you just bring her back.
Bring her back.
So that's how she started, and then she was doing fundraising,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Tell me more." And then, Erin, can you hear us?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. It was the fancy microphone. You just unplug it and now it's fine.
I told you. That's what
I don't
happened to
know.
your computer.
That is.
yeah.
I can now only listen to music if I'm on Zoom.
So
Oh, we have another special guest too.
Hello, I'm Tinsel, and I ruin everybody's life.
Yes.
Tinsel.
Yes, Tinsel's a very special one. He's awesome. Anyways, Erin, how are you?
I am well. I'm so happy to be here. Is this your inaugural
Yeah.
broadcast?
We are
I am
we
so
are putting it
honored.
out there in the world that we have a podcast, and you are one of our first guests.
Yay.
Yay! How's life in the internet?
Life on the internet is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
So, Erin, I was just saying that you started through the news world.
Yes. So I still work in television in the morning. I work for the ABC affiliate in Charleston, South Carolina. And we do like a lifestyle show, which just means we interview local businesses and nonprofits. So that's how I entered the world of auctioneering, because in the very beginning I would just MC events. And then eventually I was asked to auction events. I was like, I don't know how to do that. So I went to auction school and here I am.
Which
And then I
auction
found
school did you go
superstar
to?
rock stars like you. What's that?
Which auction school did you go to?
I went to the Southeastern School of Auctioneering.
Nice,
By the
nice.
Mears. Do you know the Mears brothers?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Darren,
Cool.
yep, he was my instructor.
Oh, nice.
Maybe
He's
we'll
fun.
get Darren on here on the podcast sometime. That would
He's
be.
still doing events.
Yeah, he's doing events. He's all over the
awesome.
place. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
So, and then you got into now, Erin, are you doing your own events?
Yes, yeah.
Sweet.
You
And I
can
now
find her.
have people working for me. I have bid assistants, MC.
She's that
Very
auctionlady.com.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, she is.
Thatauctionlady.com. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then it seems like through mainly the pandemic, you kind of switched out and got into some other stuff.
Yes. So when COVID hit, I was at home, as was everyone else, producing our TV show from home. And I had a lot of people reaching out to me saying, like, I've never been on Zoom. Do I need a light? Do I need a microphone? So I think it was twofold. Like, I had so many inquiries, and also I was bored because we didn't have events anymore. So I made my first video on Instagram that was like, how to Zoom. And I was shocked that people were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So then I was like, well, I'll make another video, like 3 tips to be confident on camera. And same thing happened. A bunch of people were like, oh my gosh, this is so good. So again, because I was bored, I was just making videos. And then finally some politician in Virginia was like, hey, I want to hire you to, help work with me with my video presence. So then it just kind of snowballed.
That's cool.
And now, did you sell at the course yet?
I just did, yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Okay, so you'll
I
have to
think
tell
we are.
everybody.
I think I had my last one just signed up.
So
Yeah.
tell everybody what we're doing, because I've signed up. I'm super excited about it.
Bobby's going to be in it. It's called Video Launchpad. So it's like 4 weeks mastermind of getting you on camera with purpose. So Bobby, you're already great. Like obviously you're
can be
in
better.
front of the mic all the time, but it's just figuring out, how we are on stage is very different than how we should be on video.
Yeah.
Because sometimes even at first when I was TV airing on video, like it's too much. Like it's jarring as people are scrolling. You're like, whoa. slow down. Why are you so formal?
airing,
Why are you
is
so
that it?
loud? So video is very different.
Wow. Wow. I
Yeah.
want to know where to look.
At the camera. Yeah, it's hard
Like
on
through
Zoom.
through the.
How do I stop looking at myself?
It's hard. Some people put a sticker by the camera. I have students that put like a sticker up here so they can see it.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
a good one.
I like that.
Nice, nice. So, anyways, so with this course, we're gonna learn about like Instagram Reels and being better on video and telling stories. That's my thing. It's like I don't have anything to tell, and you're like, no, Bobby, you have
A
lots to
million
tell,
things, yeah.
millions of things. So we're gonna be in the course, and I'll let you know, podcast world, about how this course is going,
Yeah.
and you'll have to follow me on Instagram and see the progress and all of the things of how that's going. And we're gonna. When did you know we're coming to Charleston?
I did in August.
Yes. And guess who's getting interviewed? Aaron. We're gonna do a in-person interview with the three of us, long form, hanging out, just talking about all of the wonderful things in the world.
Ooh.
How's that
And
sound?
have you seen the hotel where you guys are staying? I live here and I think I'm going to try to stay there.
Oh
for this
yeah.
week.
You
Yeah.
have to stay at
It's
the hotel.
beautiful. Yeah.
That's
it's
a
beautiful.
requirement. That's where the real magic happens,
So-
not in the classes.
Friends, we're talking about there's a summit of benefit auctioneers that gather together someplace every year, and this year we happen to be in Charleston, and it's going to be a big group of us. There might be 100 of us. All the 100 that we talked about earlier are all convening in one place to learn from each other, to network with each other, and to have a bit of fun. And if you think Thanksgiving dinner with 3 auctioneers is crazy, wait till you get a summit of 100 auctioneers together.
Number one sign that you're at an auctioneer's event, they move the furniture.
Yeah.
Oh,
No matter what restaurant you go to, what reservation you have, how
Yeah.
many people, it doesn't even matter. You will guarantee move the
Oh.
furniture. And I will tell you that because even I just went on a cruise. I went on with another auctioneer and we moved the furniture. And she was like, I guess we're at an
It just-
auction event.
There
which
you
is
go.
what you do. You
We're
move
like,
it.
no, the lighting's not good here. The sound, there's too
Yeah.
much kitchen noise, whatever it is, whatever the excuse is,
Move it.
Yeah,
you
just
will
do it.
now, at some point that will happen and you will laugh hysterically remembering this moment.
All right, so we've got a few more minutes of the podcast here before we turn out and you have to go get the kids off the bus. Aaron,
Yes.
what are you seeing or forecasting for the future of fundraising events? Like what, like any tips, any ideas, any suggestions that we can make to our nonprofit fundraising friends that are out there to make their event better?
Yes, so this is my small scope of Charleston, South Carolina, but I am seeing auction items become fewer. Like we're talking maybe 3 for a lot of them, and the focus on the fund a need, special appeal, paddle raise, whatever you want to call it, because they realized that's where you raise your money.
That's right.
Nice.
Yes, yes, we've been preaching that for years.
And shorter events, people like are bouncing super quickly.
Like
You know, they want to get home.
Let's go back to my top 10 list. One of my top 10 events, I keep talking about my top 10 list events. One of them is a 2-hour event.
Oh,
But you can't have an event in 2
It is
hours.
so incredible because most of their donors are political. And so politicians, as you know, probably
Yeah.
won't spend. They actually do donate
Yeah.
because they're all surrounded there because they're all there at the same time. Because it's only a 2-hour event, they're in, out, and they get to another event that same night
Yep.
because that's what they usually do. So they're there for the giving portion. And as you know, normally they are only there in the beginning, which is not during the giving portion.
right.
But when you work with a great fundraising consultant, they tell you to
Get it in.
get it in, fundraise first, dance and
Be the
snooze
first
later.
thing.
Yeah.
Erin, I have a question for you since we
Yeah.
have a few moments. Bobby asked me who you think we should interview on our podcast. Not a person specifically, but what type of person, what role do you think they
Oh.
would have that would be an interesting watch, read, listen?
That
So
we can learn from.
we're not talking auctioneers, just someone in the fundraising world.
Yep. Like what kind of person would be an interesting
I think a lot of times not auctioneers, nonprofits don't necessarily always have this role, but the marketing aspect, I feel like that's a big gap.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, are you emailing people like the auction items? And they're like, no, we just don't have time. Like,
You don't have time to tell
not
people what they're
every
buying.
organization, but a lot, like I just feel like there's so much missed opportunity that, and I've had a lot of questions about influencer marketing. So they want to hire me for the auction, but they also want to know like, hey, can we tap into your influencer network? Not necessarily that those people will sell tickets, right? Because we know like you need to be connected to a cause before you're going to drop money. But it works if you have the right, strategically placed local residents to build buzz. So I've had that
Nice.
question probably 3 times in the last week.
We're gonna get Mr. Beast on the
I
podcast.
love that.
How cool would we be to our kids if we had Mr. Beast on as an
It has
interview?
nothing to do
She
with
said
anything.
influencer. And if there's a bigger YouTube influencer out there than Mr. Beast, I don't know who it is.
Okay. We're gonna leave that there.
That's a
I don't
great
know
suggestion,
who
Aaron.
who is Mr. Beast? What am I missing?
Oh my. Okay, so
Because she has girls.
when we shut
Oh,
down,
is this a boy thing? Yeah, we've got girls.
yeah, it's a total.
Well, it's like was it obviously a Fortnite guy?
Video
know, it's
game.
one of
He's a
those
I
gamer.
don't know.
Gamer. Google him afterwards. You'll
I'm
see,
writing
and
this
then you'll be
down.
look how many subscribers he has and
Oh.
views on videos. It'll blow your mind. But I love the idea of influencer marketing and identifying influencers that have their hands in philanthropy. I think Mr. Beast
Right.
actually within the last 3 weeks started a Mr. Beast philanthropy YouTube channel in which they're raising money and giving it to nonprofits to do great things in the world.
Job.
See, there's the tie-in.
All right, there's your tie-in.
There we go. There we go. That's
Googling
great.
Mr. Beast right now.
Yeah. So here we are. This is why this podcast works. This is why this collective thinking and kind of letting it all jazz together. Because we're learning things from you. You're learning things from us. We're gathering together. We're sharing ideas, and ultimately, our viewers and listeners are the ones that get to reap the rewards of it.
Okay.
Pretty sweet, huh?
Aaron,
Yeah.
what's
I just want to say kudos to you two for starting this. There's no one else is doing it that I know of. There's a huge need, and I think you're just going to deliver so much value to these organizations. Like, it's wonderful.
Oh, thanks, Aaron.
We've been I've been dreaming about this for years.
Where can we watch it? I'm on now, but where does the recording go?
Oh, we're definitely gonna have it on Apple Podcasts,
Okay.
Google Podcasts, on Spotify. It's also live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So we are everywhere.
Do we see? Are there comments?
We're waiting for our first commenters
Okay.
to come
I'm
in.
just
But
wondering.
you know what?
Yeah,
They're
send
gonna
me all
get
the links
here.
afterwards. I'll share everything too.
Yeah, it's cool, and that's what Neat is about is the live interaction that happens here, but it's then also that post interaction where we're going to be able to grab a very very kind of great idea that you just had and maybe make it a little snippet, put that on a reel.
Aaron, tell me a tip.
Like a real tip?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Pretend
Mom, you have 2 seconds. You should know this from this. I mean, literally 2 seconds. If you look at the insights, especially when you can see them on TikTok, it just tanks because people are scrolling so fast. So whatever you can do in those first 2 seconds, either verbally, 3 tips to make a killer auction, whatever, either verbally or visually. So if you're at an event and you're just shooting video, you want the most engaging video up front.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like
Not
a
saving it for the surprise ending. I like that. I like that.
What could a
And never
nonprofit?
say your name. Never say I hate when people are like, "Hi,
Waste
I'm
the 2
Aaron,"
seconds.
and you're
Hey,
wasting
my
that
name's
time. They're
Bobby.
scrolling by because I can see your name, I can see your handle.
I see that's why we have experts here. I'm going to learn. Okay, so let's say that we are nonprofit clients and we're hosting a gala in a few weeks. What could we do to promote the gala within Reels very quickly, within that 2 seconds?
You say that you're the clients.
Yeah, let's say we're the client. Yeah, we've got a
You're the
gala coming
nonprofit?
up, and I have a nonprofit.
Yeah, I would show behind the scenes. Everybody loves behind the scenes. So as silent auction items are coming in, I would just do little video snippets of them. That day of people setting up, it could either be a reel or it could be in the stories.
I love that.
You know,
See right there, mic drop.
That's a great idea.
Boom, boom. That was it right there. That was it. Okay, so Aaron, we're
Yes.
definitely going to have you back on here, and we're going to do that roundtable conversation. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I'm super, super pumped for that, and I'm excited for the video course that's coming up soon.
I have 2 questions. My 2 questions.
You did
I need a quote.
Oh, that's right.
What's your favorite quote?
oh, I don't know.
I'll let you think about it. You got a second to think about it.
My daughter just made me a sign. I'm trying to think. It says, "Messy, imperfect action is what drives results." I don't know if she found that somewhere.
Your
I don't-
daughter did that?
I'm gonna
Good
interview your
job.
daughter.
Imperfect action is what drives results. She probably found it on the internet, but I like it.
I love
gonna
it.
get
That's a
that
good
tattooed.
What are
one.
you going to do daily that moves the needle, that makes a difference? It doesn't have to be perfect, but you just have to do something.
That's epic. Okay, what's question number 2?
No more.
Your favorite book.
Oh.
If not your favorite, then just a book that you're reading now.
Can I just say right now what I'm listening to an Audible? Because I'm loving it.
Okay, Audibles are in.
Spare by Prince Harry.
Oh, is
I
it
was
good?
not. I wasn't into it at first when he and Meghan made their Netflix. I'm not watching it, but I'm listening to it. It is fascinating, and he narrates it, so you get it in your ear.
Oh,
That's my favorite book as of today.
I gotta tell you, I was thinking about it, but the Netflix thing didn't do it for me. So
I didn't watch it, but this is so good.
Nice. Okay.
perfect.
All right. We'll put it in the show notes. So, Erin, if anybody wanted to work with you, reach out to you, how can they find you?
They can find me at thatauctionlady.com, and also you can follow me on Instagram. Kinzel is hard to spell, so if you just search Erin Video Coach, I should pop up.
She's a blue check mark.
I do. Yeah.
That's how awesome she is.
That is
Yes,
awesome.
that's right. Right. Okay, Erin, well, you have a fantastic day. We'll be
Thank you,
talking
guys.
soon. I'll see you next week on the course.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye,
Bye,
Erin.
Erin.
Bye.
Yeah.
This is so awesome.
Super cool.
So good.
All right. Well, friends, there it is. We've done this. About 97 minutes of live streaming. It's happened. The podcast is alive weekly on Thursday afternoons. It's going to be released. Check it out.
I love it. So we're not going to be live every week.
No, not live every week,
Oh,
but we could be.
no.
No, it's good.
Can we do Snapchat filters? I need like one of those cute bunny.
I don't
ear
have to talk to
things.
Damasio about
All
that
right.
and see what he's up there. Anyways, Erin, do you want to say something to the internet?
Peace out, internet.
Peace out. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Bobby D.
Hey, you know what I want to say? Send us some information because I would love questions. I would love to talk to actual need. We think we know what some ideas are that are important, but we don't know everything. And I'd love to know what you're thinking about because this is what happens. We have so much information in our brain, we don't know which direction to go, and we want to be helpful.
That's right. You can find us on, we've got heartofthegala.com. You can find us there on any of the podcast players, Facebook, in LinkedIn and YouTube. Put it in the comments. We'll keep watching. We'll interact with you and we'll be a part of that. So here, we'll do a wrap up now. Ready? Again, thank you. My name is Bobby D.
Why do we have to say our names? Aaron said we don't have to say them.
Okay. Anyways,
I'm Aaron.
and Aaron, we're with Heart of the Gala podcast, Inspire Hearts, and
Hope you had a great time.
awesome time. Thank you so much. Go out, make a difference in the world, and keep being
Happy
awesome.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Bye, everyone. Yay.
Happy
Do I
Heart
get-
Day.
Do I get a kiss now?
Oh,
Mwah.
love you.
All right. Love you too. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks everyone for watching.